Hey guys, how
What's
you
going on?
guys
Here we go.
excited for a launch day today? I know Mercy's been cooking this up for months logistically. And yeah, it was pretty funny. Like I think I saw Mercy start creating this, and I was sort of just going to be an observer, but a whole bunch of people pinged me to be like, "Hey, go ping Mercy and join this thing. He'll be valuable." So I reached out to him, and I fully bought into his vision. Clearly.
The rest is history. Um, and Mercy, maybe you can fill some people in on who Kitty is to you.
Yeah. Well, Kitty, can I talk about what you've done with ICM or no? You tell me. Where's the
Yeah. I think yeah, Meteor told me I need to be more public with what I'm doing these days.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm not like leaking anything.
No,
We have a few, you and
everything's
I have
fair
a few
now.
things. So KittyKunt and I have a few things in common. For some reasons, I can't leak yet, but I'll say that KittyKunt is somebody who I've been blessed to meet in the space. That is probably the closest person to me that I've met in the space. Who's just
You
been
guys like
here, been in
cousins or
crypto.
something?
Dude, he's
He's
just
your
an
uncle.
operator. He's an operator, dude. KittyKunt's a smart operator. He's a smart founder. He's worked with a lot of different crypto projects, and he spearheaded pretty important ICM project, the BelieveApp ecosystem. He would never take public credit for it because that's not the kind of person he is, and I give him a lot of respect and flowers for that. But he's behind a very successful ICM coin in the BelieveApp ecosystem, and a lot. I would know he would never claim all of their success came from him, but after spending some time with him, I could tell that he is a powerful lever, and I'm really stoked to get into the incubation stage. That's why he's a mentor. Mentors in this DAO don't need to be 400, 500K, 2 million follower people. Mentors in this DAO need to be able to help projects come to market successfully. Period. That's it.
And
Like we're
you
not
know,
looking for
like
much else.
let me emphasize that last point. Like you'll a lot of ICM founders, like they're really crack devs. And like just give background history on me. Like I'm a founder from the old days. Like a 10x founder 10 years ago is not a 10x founder now. Like I would consider like 10x founders from a decade ago being washed compared to like how smart the founders who are building now are. But a lot of these founders, like they're really good. They can build the best product, but going to market is like there are a lot of different components of building a sustainable business. A lot of experimenting, hypothesizing, and all these different parts come together. And like, what the mentors are really going to do is help some of these founders really piece these things together, to really, make your product successful if it has that chance of being successful, right? Like not every startup is gonna succeed. Like I advise startups in real life, angel invest, and everyone says there's that stat everyone says like, oh, like 90% of startups do fail. But the best founders will push through the ups and downs, and that's what ICM.Run is going to be doing with their incubator products.
So yeah, give us a little bit of insight as to kind of what you're working on here for Meteora and like how you help projects, what your role is. Talk about how you got that role because I think like that's a really interesting question. Most people would love to get some insight on.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say like a year ago, I was just trenching out of curiosity. I've always been in crypto, and I got into Chainlink like when it was in pennies, and stuff like that because there was always this idea of utility in ICM, but it's really having its iPhone moment. Like we're really now in the first inning. Um, and then as ICM started growing, let's call it January forward, I started paying attention a bit more. Started like chatting with founders, and it became an ego thing for me. It was like I really want to help a founder I think has high potential, like not get paid. It was more like, okay, succeed in Web 2. I want to have a victory lap and succeed in Web 3 and help one founder become one of the biggest ICM projects on Solana. So it sort of it really came out of passion. Um, so it's sort of like me advising two ICM projects, and that was after me like sort of vetting them and sort of meeting my criteria, like from the views of like how a VC would invest in a startup, like founder market fit. Are they here to build over the long term? You'll see a lot of founders building, giving up because like pretty quickly because their token went down, which is the mindset that the type founders I would never work with. Like you need to be laser focused. You got to be thinking about many different things. So Polycule, like Top G, he was one of the founders I met pre-TGE. And I saw like what a
Oh,
great.
did you just leak who you're working
Yeah,
with?
yeah, but I think that came out publicly
Okay,
last
cool.
week.
Cool,
Um,
cool, cool.
so I saw like, okay, this founder's like he has the right mindset of like a 10x founder.
Mm.
So I sort of told him like before he even launch, like, hey, like I'll help you through right to the end. And that's been a fun journey. Um, Start to finish, like just being on the ground floor, like and basically I got to relive the glory days of when I was a builder. Um, so Soul Cipher was the other project I'm helping. I basically flew out to meet them to vet them because I was like, okay, if I'm going to give my time to you guys, I
Wow.
need to make sure A, you're a very committed founder and that you guys are building, you guys are leaning into something unique in a saturated market. So I think over the past months, I interact with Meteora a lot, just to be like, hey, this is like what these guys are doing. And they sort of saw me involved in the ICM space. They know my background as well, um, even though it's not like publicly known, my background. And it sort of just came like they gave me a call one day and they were like, hey, um, we want to really push and be in front of ICM. And we love like what you've been doing in the space, your background. And they were like, do you want to just help run like our ICM side? It'll be like a pseudo incubator. Um, I'll be like, okay, first of all, there's gonna be a lot of ICM projects building on Meteora, and my role is trying to pick out some of the best ones that I personally think that have high potential, high TAM, and work with them, give them guidance if they want it, and try to give them a lot more resources than people think. Um, so, it's a matter of me, like, I started reaching out to some founders and it goes down to like, I want to get to know them, how things are, see what their mindsets are like. Um, like just, sort of seeing like, what their hypothesis is, how they've been experimenting, what's been going well, what hasn't been going well. And it's gonna be a balance of me like doing firstly, I don't want to be pushing you to go in any sort of direction. That's always going to go down to the founder. Like, I hate like VCs and stuff who like basically force the founder to go another direction. It has to
Mhm.
be like the founders deciding their own path. But, if the founders want my advice, like, I've built and exited my company. I've been at least in Web 2, advisors for startups that have gone to $1 billion exits right from day zero. So it's sort of what I've always been doing. And if these founders sort of want that support, um, keep open communications. I'm happy to give them significant resources to help them succeed and show that really Meteora is on the forefront of ICM, and they are. The
Meteora
best ICM
absolutely is.
the best builders will be
100%.
building the best ICM builders will be building on Meteora. And I sort of told like Soju and all that, like we want to be like San Francisco on chain. I want to see an ecosystem, and I think there's a gap right now. Like there's all these builders building, but I sort of want to start creating a vibe like SF where founders are like always like conversing with each other, chatting with each other, helping each other, like
Mhm.
basically like that San Francisco vibe, right? Because that was very pivotal in SF for builders. Like they loved meeting other builders, chatting, maybe to discuss a problem. There's a lot of different things in that ecosystem that make SF such a tech hub, and we sort of want to do that with Meteora, and then eventually meet, as a highlight product gets built, and there will be an ICM project that comes out of Believe that will have that unicorn sort of status. Whether people are going to believe to hold it to that point, I think that's the whole point of Believe, right?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, my role is really to be like that advisor, guidance, pick out some of these best founders, and if they really, it'll be up to them if how much advice, guidance they want, and give them resources as they go. Um, but that'll come down to me really understanding what they're doing. Um,
And if I can just jump in real quick, I love that. I love that. I think that's really powerful what you just said about just kind of creating San Francisco on chain, basically. What does that look like to you? Like obviously we're all this is all online, right? We all connect via CT, Twitter, Telegram, what have you. Where would all these builders come together to meet? Are you, how does that, what does that look like to you?
Yeah, so it was funny. This sort of thought came to me like last week, like as I was thinking, like, okay, outside of supporting some of the best founders, like how else can we improve this ecosystem? And on our end, like Meteor's end, like we've already like, and this is bare minimum stuff, and it's gonna be evolving, but we've created a group chat with like all these ICM founders and myself, Soju Vesper, to start chat, discussing with each other's on like with anything on Telegram, really helping telling these founders like, hey, if any of these founders have a big milestone that they just pushed out, whether it's a product, whether it's a win, like, go support each other, engage with each other.
Mhm.
It was funny. I was on a call with Tales of Meteor like a month and a half ago, and I met one of the main people on the teams in person, on this Solana yacht party, which is funny enough. And I sort of talked to him like, and this is a good example like how they're engaging with other communities, like, and that's sort of how I want to see other projects doing. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
I think. Oh, and we lost him. Well, with or without Kitty, I think like that's a really great thought. And the question is like, how can you make? I guess Believe would be the hub for this, and ICM Run is kind of working on that as well. How can you make a culture that sort of is like Silicon Valley, sort of like San Francisco? Like these startup hubs where you just have these people that kind of put everything on the line and just go all in on a product or something they're building. Again, you kind of think of Facebook and that story. How can Believe be that? And I think if Meteor can't foster that, and they have gone so hard in doing this, they've supported so many projects on Believe. It's been incredible. And so like it's a really cool thought and an interesting thought and like vertical that Kitty's kind of heading up here, because if you can bring that culture to life, not only do you just have a launch pad, but you have a full ecosystem around it. And I think like that's one thing Believe has also done well is like they have the builders fund. They have the funds for, people who need credits and stuff like that. So really interesting. And Kitty, you're back. I wanted to touch on a thought you mentioned pretty early in your when you were speaking, and it was, I don't want to help a founder that's going to have a token go down and then just kind of leave and never come back. We had this conversation with Nick from Believe a couple days ago,
yeah,
where it was like, would there be more value to and I guess I'll give some context before I get into this. People were asking, we want this fund where each project or a few projects are working with a mentor, and this mentor can help them and like help them adapt to Web3. And the question is, can you bring more value to these projects enough so where they don't leave, and does that actually churn more value for Believe in the long run? By giving some of these people that maybe would otherwise leave because they just don't understand Web3, that hands-on experience. And it almost sounds like, Kitty, you think those people are never going to make it. It's not even
Yeah.
worth like putting attention
Okay.
there.
So I'm a very principled, like when I invest in a startup, like, and a lot of VCs do this, like the first thing they check is like how committed a founder is, like, do they have founder market fit? So when I talk to founders, I really try to assess this, right? Because in the end, it's their own personal motivation. Like there's some people, there's a difference between someone launching a project because it's a hobby for them and a founder who actually wants to make a real startup, commit to building, potentially building something like generational. And those are two very different mindsets that you can almost like sense from when you actually have like a one-on-one conversation with them. And your gut may not always be right on this, but when I chat with founders and the ones I do want to sort of bring into this, like, let's call it like media incubator fold, those are the sort of founders I work with or want to work with. And like you said, there's no you will, it's never a guaranteed thing, right? It's really a matter of you trying to assess the founder, what type of person he is. It's all these little different personality factors that go into, okay, this founder actually wants to build a real company. And these things take time, right? Like startups take like a lot of time. Like, you're building your MVP, you have a hypothesis on, is there demand for this? You experiment on that, validate your idea. If the conclusions are wrong, maybe you switch up your approach, maybe you pivot. If you think you're onto something, like these are all motions you got to do for, you know, your product, your go-to-market, your profit formula, all these sort of things. And the 10x founders do think about these at some point. And that's really like the difference between like the founders who are committed to building and the founders that I personally just buy and hold and don't care about short-term price action. And the ones I want to work with versus founders where I'm like, okay, I'm really not sure if this is just a hobby to them, and if things go down, they're just going to call it quits, right? You need grit. Grit is everything in startup building.
I think that's a great message. The whitelist mint for the NFTs just went live, so I got one more question, and then you can leave us with that.
Yeah.
And Kitty, we want to, you know, again, we've talked in the DMs plenty of times. I'd love to get you on the show to really pick your brain further because your thoughts are like, I love it.
Yeah, we would love to know more about your background too, in terms of what you're able to share, and if you're open to sharing more, like what those businesses were that you worked with and projects, etc. So
yeah. So I'm not going to give the exact names. I don't want to dox a bunch of strangers, but the people I work with do know. But really, it was a fintech SaaS, and it was a $250 million exit, which, like, you know, they're bigger businesses than me. But then I sort of shifted into doing like basically angel investing to startups and guiding them. One went to like $1 billion, another one, you know, some went big, some failed. That's really the the background context I'll give on a public stream. But that's sort of what led me. That's sort of what ignited my whole passion on Web3.
Absolutely. As a journalist, I gotta, you know, peel into the layers there, and I won't call myself a journalist at all. So,
well,
but yeah, no, don't worry. I'll definitely plan to book a time on your show.
Cool.
I'll say there's some really cool products being launched in ICM next week. So literally, it's all hands on deck with me.
Hey, we got some alpha, boys.
Alpha on the stream.
That's actually huge, bro.
Yeah,
I think
like
ICM is looking really good, and you know, there are a lot of founders who are working really hard in the background, and I also see it in Telegram groups and stuff. Like, people are very impatient, but they gotta realize to have a well done product made and a well done launch, that takes time, and you know, it's a very fluid and dynamic situation, right? Because you like this. You might plan for like a set date, but things in the background are happening where the date needs to change, the date needs to push. And you'll see that with a lot of different founders. And to be fair, like even, you know, Ben's flywheel, like he's getting a lot of hate for it. But if you're a real builder, you understand that things are always dynamic. Things take time to do it right. People just need to be patient. So like, obviously in crypto, there's that whole idea of the short attention span, but it's mostly because people haven't like released a proper product or built a really good company. Things take time. You got to give these founders leeway and just be patient. And it really goes down to believing, right? And that's going to really be the big shift that Ben's leading, Meteor is leading, Mercy if ICM.run is ushering in. And I'm sure there's obviously others, right, that are like spearheading this. So the believers will win in the end, and we will see some of the best products come out in the ICM wave.
Absolutely. Kitty, brilliant mind, man. We'll be talking to you more.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys, and
Kitty
I'll be tuned in.
Leading this a lot. I think I'm really looking forward for Kitty and I to start setting up. Like, I think you guys will be seeing a lot from me and Kitty working together on the incubator process stuff. There's a lot of mentors. There's a couple idea guy mentors too. KittyKunt and I are going to be the rolling sleeves up guys on this one. So I'm really
and it sounds like Kitty's a culture guy too, and ICM has built a culture. Like, I'm so excited for ICM Run because you've built this culture where I haven't like gotten excited for a PFP cult in so long. And you guys have like successfully ignited that in me. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
No, Mercy is good. And I think the last bit I'll add for I tune out is like, yes, this is see, whatever Mercy's aligned with this thought process, if he wants to be a 60-day DAOs, I'm going to be aligned with that too. I know he's doing this whole voting thing, and the voting thing is needed, but the people that we incubate, like what I'm looking forward to is like selecting some founders post incubator and bringing them to this Meteora, let's call it incubator fold, post this incubator, and really help give them more resources, guidance, and really help them create an amazing product. So that that's going to be post incubator of like how my roles can be involved with any projects that may be going through this. So it doesn't end just at the ICM.run. There'll be some people I want to pick and help give resources to after the fact.
What a huge mind. I mean, Kitty, I can't wait to have you on stream to really like dig into a lot of this. But we appreciate the alpha. I mean, I don't know if you guys on in the audience, I don't know if you viewers caught that, but if you didn't, I'd say go back a few minutes. Back about 5 minutes and rewatch that.
And I'll clarify. I'm talking about like multiple ICM projects here, so it's a good week for ICM.
In many ways.
Now, dare I throw this thought experiment out real quick? We know Ben is like 95% done with the flywheel. We thought he's been holding back launches till the flywheel is ready to kind of kick it off. So next week, could we see flywheel paired with launches, paired with ICM run? Could be huge.
Wink huge. Twice if that's true.
Kitty, we don't know if Kitty's weekend right now.
All right, guys, I'll be tuned in the rest of the day, and I can jump in once it's an open space.
Sounds good. We appreciate you for coming on. Thanks, Kitty.